So, hello everyone. Thank you all very much so for attending today's session. I hope everyone's well and truly settled in by now. Make sure to hold on to those TikTok goodie bags. Could be worth a bit of money in a couple of years' time. So I want to say thanks to Elite Business Magazine for giving myself and my colleague the opportunity just to speak about the platform, which is TikTok. I want to welcome you all here today to our Grow Together with TikTok session. So I'm going to kick off with just a quick round of introductions. So my name is Jake. Yes, my second name is Valentine. I don't know how I got away with that one. I have my mother to thank for that. Over here we have my colleague Niall. Give us a wave. Good stuff. So myself and Niall are both account managers here at TikTok for the UK and Ireland region. So pretty much it's our job to kind of get the best out of everyone's account while signing up on the platform. And myself and Niall put this deck here together today just to kind of simplify TikTok as a whole, and hopefully by the end of today's session you'll see just how powerful our platform really is and how businesses like yourself can utilise the platform to the best of your ability. So just before we kick off with today's session, I do ask everyone to please not take out your phones, don't take any photos or videos. We do have a lot of internal use analytics. Throughout the session though, myself and Niall will say you can take out your phone to scan a couple of QR codes, but until then, please just keep the phones away. Thank you very much. So we're going to run through today's agenda firstly. So we're going to talk a little bit about why TikTok for your business. Within this, we're going to have a look at TikTok 101. Then we're going to touch on TikTok for business solutions. Then Niall is going to have a look at our creativity on TikTok. In this, we'll have a look at all the different creative processes that we do offer here within our platform. And then we're going to have a look at the different seasonal opportunities that you guys can make the most of on our platform as well. At the end, we also put together a couple of success stories just to kind of show you guys that different small to medium businesses such as yourselves have had a lot of success on TikTok. And I feel like it's a good way to resonate with people in the same field as yourself. So I'm going to kick off with a myth that we hear quite a bit at TikTok. So the biggest myth that myself and Niall and all of my colleagues within the company always get is that TikTok is a platform for young audiences. Maybe 4 to 5 years ago, this definitely would have been the case, but since then it has developed a lot more than just that. So it used to be a platform, I suppose you could say, for just people doing silly TikTok trends, dance videos, making funny content. But it's really developed in the last couple of years. So pretty much TikTok gives you the ability to really grow and expand your business. You know, it gives you the opportunity to grow your overall brand awareness and get your company or business out there to as many faces as physically possible. In the last couple of years, it's developed into way more of just an entertaining platform. So this is where you guys' businesses would definitely come into play. So pretty much it tees us up nicely for our next section, which is Niall is going to speak about now. It is why TikTok for your business.
Perfect. Thanks, Jake. So yeah, we're going to just run through TikTok 101 now, the basics of TikTok. You might ask, Niall, what's TikTok all about? What is TikTok, the platform? So TikTok is the leading platform or the leading short form video content platform, and it's where creativity and trends are born. It's a place where businesses just like yourselves can come, you can be seen by your customers, you can grow your following, and then ultimately you can drive big results. As you can see behind me, our mission is to inspire creativity and bring joy. And that's exactly what we've been doing on the platform. So yeah, again, the screen behind me, you can see some of the trends you might recognize throughout 2024. I know we've people online and a good few of us here in the crowd. Does anyone actually recognize any of the trends you see? I see from nodding heads. So again, these were trends that were embraced by the community. And the users, but also by businesses. So businesses were able to create, content very quickly and cheaply by using this different trend. So again, we have very demure, very mindful. Probably recognise that one. Finance Man, so that very catchy tune as well during the summer. And then Brat Summer. Now, you mightn't recognise the green screen, but you'll definitely recognise the dance itself. And if not, stick around because Jake is going to do it afterwards for us all. Perfect. Yeah, so over the past number of years, I suppose, we've seen TikTok grow at speeds like never before, most recently exceeding 1 billion monthly users. I suppose just to repeat that, 1 billion monthly users. You know, a few oohs and ahs in the crowd, we love to see it, we love to hear it. I suppose for me, that just shows the influence that TikTok is having over a number of, you know, age groups, demographics, cultures even. And look, we're just getting started. And you might ask, Niall, how can I take advantage of those 1 billion users, global users? Well, I suppose the answer to that is on the For You page. So yeah, look, our platform is built for discovery, helping businesses just like yourselves of all shapes and sizes to be seen and discovered. And you know what it does is it's connecting you to the relevant audiences, and it's connecting our users to content that's tailored for them. And I suppose the beauty of TikTok and the algorithm is it doesn't matter how many, you know, followers you have on the platform. Ultimately, good quality content will be rewarded by being pushed out to new users. And I suppose, yeah, that is the magic really of the For You page. Yeah, so I suppose TikTok, as we mentioned, you know, it's a place where users and where communities are found, but it's also a place for businesses to grow. I suppose by being, you know, your authentic self, showing who you really are and who your business is, you can really grow quickly on the platform. You know, and the communities, as I mentioned, will be able to discover and embrace you. And then as you build your presence on the platform and make real connections, those connections will ultimately drive business growth. Perfect. Yeah, so as I mentioned, like all our trends are like start out on TikTok, but they ultimately don't stay here. And they've spilled onto channels both online and offline. So again, just behind me, you can see a couple of examples of that. You know, like, you know, we mentioned the man in finance, for example, are very demure, very mindful. These are different trends that have been utilized for businesses across the board. So again, just looking, we can see like an Amazon store where they have the best of TikTok. Is their method of pushing out there, or even a local bookstore we saw trending on TikTok. So it just shows really, I suppose, the influence that TikTok is having both online and in offline environments. And that kind of leads us on nicely to a short video that I'm going to share with you. I like this video as it gives kind of a real life effect or a real life kind of presence to it, to TikTok. And how like a small business owner in Wales actually utilised the platform to drive sales to her brick and mortar business. So I'm going to play that for you now. If it plays for me, hopefully.
I started a tiny independent bookshop in Aberystwyth in Wales, right by the ocean. It was such a big dream of mine, and it has been so incredible seeing how TikTok has brought such a big bookish community. I honestly couldn't do it without you all, and it's been incredible. I feel like building a kind of online community, as well as all of the things we do in store, like our book clubs, our reading groups, our story times, like everything in store has just been so much fun. It feels like a dream come true, even getting to do things this year like go to the TikTok Book Awards and then the Fantasy Book Ball. It honestly feels like a TikTok fairy tale at this point, and I can't wait to carry on and see what 2025 brings. Hopefully more books, more fantasy books especially, and more TikTok sales as well. It's just been a miracle, and I'm so grateful everyone online has just made my dream come true. I started
Perfect, yeah, so myself and Niall came across that video and just thought it'd be a great way to kind of share with you guys something as small as, you know, a small bookstore can really grow their overall brand awareness on the platform. So as I said, just something that someone's passionate about, they were able to kind of put all their passion into one place and use TikTok and really grow their business this way. So from moving on from that, we're going to take a look at TikTok for business solutions. So I also want to give a heads up, I am used to kind of turning around with a mic in my hand and looking up at the screen, but I do have to look down here, so apologies in advance. But at TikTok, we offer, or we have 5 different account types, all for different needs, right? So firstly, we have 2 organic account types. That'd be our personal account and our business account. And then lastly, we have 3 paid account types as well. So to touch on our organic account types, our personal account, I'm sure a lot of you know about what the TikTok platform looks like. This is your day-to-day application that most of you will probably have on your phone or have seen it at least. The only thing about your personal account, you are limited to just creating and watching content. So it doesn't really give you any insights or features, unlike our business account. So moving on to our business account, this is a free-to-use public platform that avails to all businesses or people or clients that are looking to set up on TikTok and really utilize it as a way to grow your overall brand awareness or anything like that sort of stuff. So pretty much this gives you access to different data analytics. It gives you different insights to different account features. It's where you can set up your content and your creatives and your TikTok videos. So all that kind of fun stuff you may need when running a business on TikTok. So moving on from the organic paid account types we have, as I said, we have 3 paid. So the first 3 are Ads Manager, which I'm going to touch on now in just a moment, so we're going to skip that. We then have Seller Center and Business Center. So to speak a little bit about our Seller Center, this is pretty much specifically for our TikTok shop clients. So over in the Seller Center, it's like a one-stop shop for all of our TikTok shop clients, and where they'd have their orders, they can have a look at their refunds, their returns, all their products, all that sort of fun stuff you would need while running a shop on TikTok. Moving on then to our Business Center. Our Business Center is pretty much an easy access platform which allows you to manage all of your assets in one place, which I will explain now in a moment. And moving back to Ads Manager, the reason why I skipped that initially is because the Ads Manager platform or tool, in which we call it at TikTok, would be myself and Niall's bread and butter. So Ads Manager is where you run all of your campaigns, all of your advertising. Within Ads Manager, you can then optimize these campaigns. You can optimize your videos, your creatives. This is where you can use your ads to retarget and target different audiences. So anything to do with TikTok ads or campaigns, it's all through our Ads Manager platform. And as I said, this is mine and Niall's bread and butter. If we were working together pretty much with TikTok, we could easily jump on a call and help you guys set up Ads Manager or set up a campaign or help you optimize whatever campaign that you may be running at that particular moment. So moving on from that now, at TikTok we have a full funnel organic page strategy. So as a business on TikTok, the best way you can run on the platform is by running an organic paid approach. That's what we call it internally. So pretty much what I mean by an organic paid approach is by having an organic presence on the platform while pairing that with paid ads. So with your organic presence on the platform, this is where you could grow your overall brand awareness. You can really get your community interaction built up on the platform and just grow your overall presence on TikTok. And as I said, by pairing that with paid advertisement, this is pretty much where you can expand your reach. As I said, target different audiences, different demographics, different ages, different regions. So we always advise by running an organic paid approach. If you do so, you would definitely be led to or set up for long-term success on the platform. Another thing we do also offer is dark ads, which I'm going to touch on now in just a moment. But moving on from our organic paid approach, we have Spark ads. So you're probably thinking to yourself, Jake, when setting up on TikTok, what's the best type of ad I could use, or what type of ad should I set up? If you speak to myself or Niall or anyone within TikTok from the account management sides of things, you will always hear us say Spark ads. We're going to sound like broken records because we always just kind of stand by it. They're just the most successful way to advertise on the platform. So pretty much what a Spark ad is it's using existing content that you already have on your organic profile and turning that into an advertisement. So what that means is, so if you have TikTok content on your TikTok profile, so let's say you have a video of, you know, behind the scenes, you can actually use this video of behind the scenes as an ad format or a campaign. So when a user does click on the ad campaign or the format, it can direct you, let's say, to a website, to maybe an application, or to a URL. It does depend on what business objective you have. But so Spark Ad pretty much means that you choose or you use your organic content and turn it into an advertisement. The idea behind this is it gives that native feel on the platform, which allows our TikTok users to engage with, because they go onto TikTok to have a look at content at the end of the day, and using Spark Ads with the paid organic really does set you up for success. And then to go back to what I was speaking about a moment ago, we do also have dark ads. Dark ads is pretty much when you advertise on TikTok without any organic presence. So it's pretty much just advertising without having a TikTok profile. So moving on from TikTok Spark Ads, you may be wondering or thinking to yourself, what does the TikTok user face look like in terms of ads? That is, I feel like most of us in the audience today know exactly how TikTok looks, but you probably didn't understand exactly how it's broke down when it comes to advertisement. So on TikTok, we have 3 different ad formats that we talk about. So the first one is top view, then we have top feed, and then we have in-feed sponsored ads. So to talk about top view is the very first ad that you will see when you click onto the application itself. So the minute you click onto TikTok, the first ad that pops up, we would call that top view ad. This is a premium ad format that really grabs your attention the minute you click onto the application. After that, then we have our top feed ad. So a top feed ad is the first video that pops up when you click on your For You page on TikTok. So when you go onto your For You page for TikTok, the first ad that pops up is called top feed. And as you continue to scroll through your For You page, you'll then come across an in-feed sponsored ad. So maybe 6 or 7 videos into scrolling through your For You page, you'll come across an in-feed sponsored ads. So they're the main 3 ads that we have at TikTok. So just to reiterate, we have top view, that's the minute you click onto the app. We then have top feed, that's the first ad that pops up when you click onto your For You page. And then we have our in-feed sponsored ads. As I said, as you continue to scroll throughout the platform on the For You page, this is what we call an in-feed ad. Perfect. So next we're going to talk a bit about the ad campaign objectives that we have to offer at TikTok. So we do offer a full funnel strategy. I know that sounds like a fancy word, but to just break it down into simpler terms, our upper funnel is what we call our awareness campaigns. So pretty much in our awareness campaign sections, we offer reach objective, for instance. A reach objective pretty much just shows your ad and maximizes the number of impressions. So pretty much in simple terms, it gets your ad out to as many faces physically possible on the platform. It's a great way to grow your overall brand awareness and audience reach and stuff like that. So that would be our upper funnel. Moving on to our mid funnel then, we have our consideration campaigns. Within our consideration campaigns, we have 3 main objectives. That would be video views, community interaction, and traffic campaigns. Video views is what it says in the tin. It just pretty much drives more views to the actual video and content that you're posting or putting out there. Traffic is pretty much getting people to either a URL, website, or an application that you have. And then community interaction. This is a great way to build your overall community on TikTok. Just as the video that Niall showed earlier on, that girl with her book business, she grew her community and she used the community interaction campaign to grow her overall following, which gives a better brand and a better uplift on the actual presence on the platform as well. So then lastly, on our lower funnel campaign objectives, we have conversion itself. So in the conversion objectives, we have lead generation, and then we also have the conversion campaign. Lead generation pretty much is using a Spark ad to collect information. So pretty much you will then have leads to then chase after at a later stage. So how a lead generation could work is you could On your Spark ad, you could set it up for people to fill out information in order to collect their details. And then the idea is you could reach out to them at a later stage. It's actually a very successful campaign objective that we use at TikTok quite a bit. And then lastly is obviously our conversion campaign, and this is pretty much driving valuable actions on your website or app. So it's driving people to complete a purchase, whether that be a product or a service. Perfect, and this leads us up nicely now to talk a little bit about TikTok Smart Plus. So I'm going to pass you back over to my colleague Niall now.
Perfect, thank you, Jake. So yeah, that kind of leads us on nicely, as Jake mentioned, to Smart Plus. I know I spoke to kind of a couple of advertisers in the room just before we got started there. Has anyone here utilised or heard of Smart Plus? No one uses it. Okay, yeah, no, that's perfect. So basically what we'll have is a quick introduction here to Smart Plus and how you can utilise it. So what is Smart Plus? It's a AI tool that takes kind of the heavy lifting out of campaign setup. So I suppose, what does that really mean? It means that instead of you having to go in and manually pick out different demographics, different pieces within the campaign setup, with Smart Plus all you have to do is upload your creatives, pick a budget that you want to run with, and also the demographics that you're looking to target. I actually have a short video here that I'm going to play for you. I think it gives a good overview of Smart Plus, and then what we can do afterwards is just kind of have a bit of a recap. So yeah, I'll move out of the way just so you can see it. Hopefully that'll play now. Bear with me now, I'll just see if we can get that going. Not to worry, we can just do our own little recap. So, why Smart Plus? I suppose, look, Smart Plus, there's two reasons I hear from my clients why they like Smart Plus, or why Smart Plus is something that I'm recommending to them. And I suppose number one, it's easy to set up. As I mentioned, there's a limited amount of information needed from yourselves, and then the second one is reliable results. So we see great results really from Smart Plus. I suppose here behind me you can see the kind of 4 steps of a Smart Plus campaign setup. So firstly, as I mentioned, you're just picking your objective of your campaign. So I know Jay touched on a lot of different upper funnel, lower funnel campaigns, but regardless, you're able to utilise Smart Plus. So whether that's a lead gen campaign, whether you're looking at maybe app installs, or if there's any e-com businesses in the room, maybe a lower funnel sales campaign, that can all be done using Smart Plus. The second step then is inputting the creatives, the budget, and the goal of the campaign. So again, there's not much needed from yourselves. It's a tried and tested campaign setup as such. And then the third is automating. So this is really where the AI comes into it, or where the beauty of Smart Plus takes place. While the campaign is live, it's constantly adapting and changing in order to drive performance. So as I say, there's nothing needed on your end. You can just let the campaign run and let the kind of rewards come in. And I suppose, yeah, that's where the kind of step 4 as such, you're just letting the magic unfold of Smart Plus. And then kind of moving away from Smart Plus, we have many kind of partner integrations. So I know I keep beating the drum on, we'll say, lead generation. So any businesses doing lead gen in the room. We have our HubSpot, or Salesforce integrations. So it's just a couple of clicks of a button really, and you can gather all the customer data there. Other partner integrations such as Zapier or LeadsBridge. And then we also have our e-com for any of the e-com businesses, sales in the room. So your Shopify's or your WooCommerce, myself and Jake can assist you in getting those set up. Perfect. So I think passing it back over to Jake for some of the creative process. I'll leave that to you, Jake.
Thank you very much, Niall. Appreciate it. So yeah, look, now we're going to take a look at creativity on TikTok, and we're going to take a look at the different creative processes. So we're going to take a bigger or a deeper look under the hood to kind of deep dive into what we have to offer. So TikTok has all the tools that you need from the very first idea to the final frame of the product. So what we mean by saying that is if you are lacking motivation or creativity, or you're just trying to come up with an idea, we actually have a tool specifically for this in order to help you spark those ideas. That tool is called the Creative Center. Now I'm going to explain and touch on the Creative Center now in a moment, so no need to remember that off the top of your head. And then moving on to the actual production of, TikTok videos, or we call them creatives. So the production side of things, we have an application called CapCut. I'm sure a lot of people in the audience have heard about CapCut. And funny enough, TikTok actually own CapCut as well. So CapCut is pretty much a tool or an app that you can use to help chop, change and edit all your TikTok videos. And it's a very user-friendly platform as well. Like it's designed that way to make making videos quite easy. And then moving on from that, once you have obviously the idea and the product, let's say at a later stage you want to optimize this and kind of make the most out of it, or maybe even just take it to that next level, we also have stuff for our optimization. And this is what I explained earlier on, the Ads Manager platform. As I said, that'll be myself and Niall's bread and butter. So if you're ever struggling in terms of optimization, this is where we'd step in and kind of show you guys exactly how it works. So myself and Niall came across this stat that we just wanted to share with everyone, which is a bit of a mouthful, but you'll see where we're going with this in a moment. So 81% of social or video platform users say that TikTok helps them to discover new trends or topics they didn't know they liked. So I'm pretty sure we're all guilty of this. You come across a trend and you may be singing it on repeat all day, or re-quoting it to your friends and family members, annoying absolutely everybody. So 81% of those people said they came across these types of trend or topic on TikTok itself. So this will tee us up nicely just to show you how a small business owner in London who owns his own restaurant utilised trends to really grow his overall brand awareness. I'm praying to God these videos are going to work, because Niall obviously had a few issues, but we'll see. No sé qué pasó, que no contestas mis. Best handmade dumpling in London, 37 Strand Grove, open 10 to 10. Okay, so for whatever reason they both played at the same time, but I'm going to count me blessing because they actually played. So look, it's just a great way just to kind of show you guys how you can add in a bit of sense of humour, a bit of creativity. Obviously, I'm sure this wasn't the first two TikToks they ever created. I'd say the very first handful of them probably didn't go viral or didn't hit the trend, but that's the idea about TikTok. You have to kind of keep coming up with new trends, new topics, new ideas in order to kind of stay relevant on the platform. And it's a great way, as I said, you can see here just by using, slagging himself off, using a sense of humour and really showing the outside of the actual business himself. He was able to actually go viral and start up his own trend and really maximise his brand awareness and overall presence on TikTok as a whole. And just by reading off one of his quotes there, you can see that he actually tripled his revenue in less than 2 months. So that's an absolutely outstanding result just from going viral. And if you guys want to triple your revenue, my business card is over there. So meet me after this. Perfect. So moving on from that, small business owner. We always say here at TikTok that brands that get trends get results. What I mean by saying that is, that's why we showed you the video prior to this, is by keeping up with the latest trends, you can also jump on that topic or whatever's relevant and use this to your advantage on TikTok and try and grow your brand on the platform itself. So there's 3 simple ways to do this. The first one is very obvious, which we all know. But that would be to keep up with the trends, the latest trends and topics, is just by spending time on the application itself. So by scrolling, engaging, looking up, other content creators, other TikTok videos, this can really help you inspire and come up with your own kind of content then in the end. I know it sounds simple, but if you are utilizing TikTok, we would highly recommend 10, 15 minutes, even if it's only a week, just having a look and seeing what trends are relevant at the moment, and use this to your own advantage. We then actually have 2 tools that we have at TikTok in order for you to keep up with trends. So alongside just spending time on the app itself, because I know we're all trying to stay off our phones nowadays, we actually have our creative center. So I did mention it earlier on. And then we also have our Symphony Assistant. So on the next slide, I'll explain how our Creative Center and Symphony Assistant works. But just to go back to trends, as Niall pointed out earlier on, back in 2024, we had the Very Demure, Very Mindful, Man in Finance, and Brat Summer, 3 simple TikTok videos, and they absolutely went mega viral. And I couldn't tell you how many clients or businesses or companies jumped on these trends and helped them grow their own brand and presence on the platform. So trends are huge on TikTok. They're very, very powerful. So to touch on the Creative Center, in which I've mentioned a couple of times before, a Creative Center is pretty much like a one-stop shop platform in which you can look up different keyword insights, so you can see what relevant keywords are kind of trending at the moment. So that could be great for the title of your TikTok video, or maybe the name of your business. You can also look up top ads, so you can see what are the top performing ads within that week, month, quarter, or last year. Then obviously we all know how important hashtags are. Hashtags are huge on TikTok as well. And you can also look up the top trending hashtags. And then lastly, we have top TikToks. So this is where you can kind of deep dive into the trending TikTok videos. And this will all be done on our Creative Center. So I know I did tell you to please not take out your phones, but I would highly recommend scanning the QR code, if you can see it from all the way back there. I'll move out of the way. Scan the QR code and I'll leave that up there. Perfect. Look, if you weren't able to scan the QR code, apologies about the setup. We didn't know the screens. I was going to be blocking it the whole time, so apologies about that. But you can also just look it up online. If you just type in Creative Center by TikTok, it will direct you straight to the website. So not to worry if you didn't come across the QR code just now. So then lastly, I want to talk about the Symphony Assistant. So this is what I was touching on a moment ago. Pretty much this is an AI tool on TikTok that you can use to help you ideate your advertisement or your ideas or anything along those side of the lines. At TikTok, they love artificial intelligence. Obviously, as Niall talked about, the Smart Plus. This is just another tool that uses AI technology to kind of find quick and easy answers in order for you to have a look at the trends. There's just a short video here. There's no sound, but I'll leave it playing. Again, I definitely highly recommend taking out your phones now and scanning the QR code. So I'll leave that just up for a moment or two.
Looks like we all managed to get a quick snap of that. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so that kind of leads us on nicely to seasonal opportunities. I suppose, what are seasonal opportunities? There are moments throughout the year of kind of significant cultural or commercial commercial moments. I suppose thinking of like Christmas maybe, the Six Nations at the moment, but I'd rather forget that. We also have the London City Marathon for all the Strava family out there, I suppose. So you get the idea. These are kind of moments of significance throughout the year for different communities. And why do they matter? Okay, so firstly, you can see like maybe higher engagement. So typically throughout for those moments as we just mentioned, there's a lot of activity on TikTok. So people maybe in the next couple of weeks when we have the London City Marathon, people will be sharing their experiences firsthand of what their involvement was or how they found the marathon went. And it's a great opportunity, I suppose, for you to meet your customers where they are at that time. So it's all about finding where your communities are going to be and engaging at those seasonal moments. And then we have authentic storytelling. So it's an opportunity for you to really get your brand's like personality across, show who you really are, and to be as authentic with them as possible during that time. And then we have emotional connection. So I suppose when an ad resonates with your community, it really helps to deepen that relationship and ultimately drive kind of brand loyalty long term. And again, because of the high engagement during that time, we see a boost in conversions and sales. So yeah, kind of an upcoming one that we can all think of is Easter. You can see a couple of examples behind me of the Easter moments, different trends or videos that clients or users might utilize. Now, you might think, okay, I'm a service industry, these don't appeal, or they don't resonate with you as such. But when I speak to some of the businesses that I work alongside, an insurance company actually stands out. What they do is, they're not making any Easter treats, but what they're doing is they're sharing content. So like a week or two ago during Pancake Tuesday, they had pancakes in the office, and they were able to jump on these seasonal moments and on these trends by sharing that content. So yeah, it doesn't matter really what your business is doing, you can always take part and be involved in these moments. And then I have a couple of examples behind me that I think you even take note of, or you'd be able to utilize. These are tried and tested examples of what's worked well on the platform. And I know personally, and obviously the TikTok users in the room will know that they love seeing like a founder story or behind the scenes. So yeah, definitely utilizing these to full effect. Even looking here, unboxing in order. Like who doesn't want to see what it's like firsthand, getting that authentic feel of the business and what you're offering. So I think they're a couple definitely to take note of. And a top tip then from myself and what I would share with the businesses I work with is that you can take one of these and break it down into 3 different sub-points. So it could be day in the life of, you could have it from your CEO or from someone in the marketing team. Utilizing it and repurposing those different pieces of content is definitely advisable. And then in terms of the structure, as we all know, structure is really important on TikTok. I would advise breaking it down into the 3 steps or the 3 different pieces to have that winning formula. So firstly is having the killer hook. So usually I would say in the first 3 to 6 seconds, getting across attention grabbing messaging in order to really entice the user to find out more as such. Once you've that done, it's time to shine, show what your business is all about, and really get the message or the unique selling point of your product or service across to them. Once that's done, it's time to capitalize. So that's where you have the clear call to action. Nothing fancy, just get straight to the point really with TikTok. Again, I have a couple of examples on the screen behind me as well, whether it's a kind of a motivational call to action, so check it out for yourself. Promotion, get this offer now, or brand message, join the gang. Very simple, very clean cut. The user knows exactly, or the customer knows exactly what's wanted or needed from them. Another, you're probably sick of QR codes at this stage, but I'm going to put one more in front of you that I think you definitely are definitely worth scanning. So these are just, we mentioned Easter, we have like other, obviously Christmas or Valentine's Day as well, throughout the year. So yeah, to scan this, I'll stand out of the way again so you can take note. Perfect. Yeah, so it looks like everyone got that. So just moving on to some success stories, and we'll do a bit of a Q&A at the end as well. So diving now, I have videos here. I'm hoping that it's not just me pressing the button. I might get Jake to try it as well if it all goes wrong. But firstly, I suppose we have a story or a quick video from a founder that I think you'll really enjoy. I'm going to play it now, and we can have a quick kind of deep dive afterwards. So hopefully this plays now for us.
Hi, I'm Lemon, and I am the CEO and founder of Lemonade Dolls, the most inclusive lingerie brand in the UK. We use TikTok for marketing and to launch new products, and we also use TikTok Shop to sell. TikTok has allowed us to change narratives. We love to show the full story of our business by taking our customers on the journey with us. So when we've gone to see our factories in the Philippines, we are able to take our customers with us and show them how these factories are super sustainable and ethical, and they get to meet the people actually making the products. The best ads has been big moments within the company. The TikTok that we posted when I went on to Women's Hour on Radio 2 gained us over 1,000 followers in just a couple of days. My advice to anybody that is starting a business and wants to use TikTok to help it grow would be to stay as honest and authentic as possible, and yeah, have fun with it.
Yeah, I think that's a great video. I suppose my key takeaway from that is just have fun with it. You know, TikTok's not a platform where you have to have overly polished content. Just having fun with it, showing who you are, showing what the business does, using even some of the you know, the content that we showed you earlier can definitely get a positive reflection of your brand across on the platform. Perfect. So this is another business that really utilize those seasonal opportunities or trends on the platform. So I'm just going to play it again, and we will have a quick recap afterwards.
My name is Richard Potts, and for the last 9 years I've been head of performance at Thoughtful. Thoughtful is a greeting card marketplace. We have thousands of creators across the globe. We started using TikTok back in 2020. It fit in very well with our kind of authentic, slightly rough and ready ethos. We could put content out there that didn't need to be too highly polished. We run a lot of campaigns with TikTok now. The one that's performed the best was Valentine's this year. Tracers was on. People were still obsessed with their air fryers. We got all that card content, and there was lots of trending sounds and memes and things on TikTok. We kind of brought the cards to life. That resulted in around 5,000 customers for about a spend of 35K. The videos that we spend the least amount of effort on tend to perform the best.
Yeah, that's another kind of great case study, and again, we're seeing a recurring trend of it's videos that you're not overly, you know, that aren't overly polished, that they didn't put massive effort into, that were just as natural and as honest for their business as possible, really reflected well on the platform with their audiences. So we've one more for you, another founder story. I really like this one. You know, gives kind of behind the scenes on how she represented her business.
Naz, I'm the founder and formulator for Solo Skin London. I create skincare products that are natural and organic and suitable for sensitive skin. The way I approach TikTok's content is having certain pillars. So I'll have behind the scenes of myself formulating products. The best TikTok ad that has worked for me is number one, showcasing my products and also sharing my brand story so that I can really touch on the pain point for the customers and they'll be able to resonate with my brand really, really quickly. People buy from people, so I love to show a little bit more of my personality at the same time. One of the best TikTok campaigns for me has had to be the spring sale. So we actually generated over 30% more just in a couple of days, which was crazy. TikTok has changed my life.
Again, yeah, another recurring theme there, and you know, great to hear from like founders of businesses and their reflections of their experiences on TikTok. So I think that was the three of our case studies. Just onto the kind of Q&A side of things. I leave this QR code up. I want to be mindful of time. I know Jake mentioned a couple of questions came online, so we might just go, you know, if a question came 2 or 3 times in, we might just you know, answer those first, but anyone in the room will be around afterwards. Would love to kind of meet you all and hear kind of your experiences so far on TikTok. And yeah, so I'll leave this here with you for a minute and we'll filter some of the questions through then. Cheers. Perfect, so I'm just reading out one here. So how would you recommend for us to get started on TikTok? So look, I suppose as kind of Jake touched on earlier, a best practice is definitely by utilising an organic and paid approach. So I'd say, you know, start posting organically, see, you know, what's resonating with your audiences, build up that audience, and then, as Jake mentioned, with Spark ads, you can start utilising, you know, content when working well organically, and utilising them as ads. Now, if you're not building up that would be best practice. Now, if you're not building up a platform or building up your presence on TikTok, you can also utilize dark ads. But yeah, as a best practice, and you know, I'd always encourage my businesses to start posting as much as possible organically to begin with. And another one here is what resources are available for creating content. I think as kind of Jay touched on there again, the creative center is a big one. You can see, you know, like trending videos. You can see what's working well for other similar businesses to yourselves. So definitely that's a must. You can also see kind of trending hashtags or the music library all from within the one place. And then one other one here was any interesting new products. Yeah, so all the time TikTok is constantly evolving, and I suppose that's one reason it's great to have an account manager, I should say, in TikTok, who would be able to advise you and make sure you're using the right kind of tools at your disposal. So as we mentioned, Smart Plus is great for campaign setups, and then we also have the likes of GMV Max, which is a new product on Shop. Again, myself and Jake will be around afterwards to go into kind of further detail. Being mindful, again, we have 2 minutes left on the clock. Do you have any questions there, Jake, on your side that came in?
Yeah, so apologies just in regards to time. We have to wrap it up now, but for everyone in the room, we'll be here afterwards and we can all meet you guys face to face. Just from one of the questions online, we also kind of have to keep it as broad as possible, just that what kind of most people can resonate with, I suppose. But this one here, how quickly can we start seeing results while advertising on TikTok? So we always recommend waiting out our learning phase. Our learning phase, which we call in TikTok, is pretty much our first 7 to 10 days. These are the most important days of running an advertising platform. Because it's so developed and the AI technology and our algorithm and machine learning is advanced a lot in the last couple of months, we always let the campaign run for the first 7 to 10 days. and we leave it as broad as possible. So what I mean by that is you might be wanting to target, you know, a certain age demographic, but for the first 7 to 10 days, we always recommend leaving it as broad as possible, as the machine learning is actually smart enough now to pick up your targeted audience. So pretty much to start seeing significant results, we always say wait out at least minimum the machine learning phase, and then it's maybe 2 to 3 weeks after that is when you can really start seeing a return on investment or a return on ad expenditure. So it does vary. Obviously that depends on which region or what kind of industry you're in as well. And then lastly, one more question before time is up is, do you need to have an organic profile on TikTok? I touched on that earlier on. No, you don't. You can advertise. It's called dark ads. As I said, you can advertise without an organic presence, but we obviously always recommend the organic paid approach. So that'll be it for now for questions. So thank you all again for attending. Very much thank you to Elite Business Magazine for allowing myself and Niall to speak about TikTok. Thank you.